Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dietrich, and today we are test driving a 2024 Audi SQ5 Premium Plus. This car has a 3-liter turbocharged V6. It has 349 horsepower and 369 torques. This particular vehicle is equipped with the S Sport package. So we have air suspension, and we have red brake calipers, and we have a trick rear differential that can shift power from side to side to complement Audi's excellent Quattro all-wheel drive system that can send up to 80% of the power to the rear wheels. This is an interesting vehicle because of all of the sporting versions of the small luxury SUVs, you know, your X3, M340i's, you know, GLCs with the more powerful engines, Porsche Macans. This one's probably the softest and the most comfortable, which kind of makes sense because you're not buying a car like this to take it to the Nürburgring. It's still going to have to perform SUV-ish duties, so it is faster, of course, considerably so, than a base Audi Q5, but it's still pretty much as comfortable. We have the Audi Drive Select, so we can change modes. Let's see, I was already in dynamic. I guess if I had a complaint about the way the car drives, it's that even in dynamic mode, it's got air suspension. I feel like they could have made it a little bit stiffer, maybe. The steering effort is always very light. The steering feel is good, but it doesn't quite have that sporting feel on the steering. But the handling is good and the steering is accurate. It just doesn't give you that feeling. It's very light effort. But it is a very comfortable car. I like the noise the engine makes. It is fast in a straight line. It looks very modern in here with the Audi virtual cockpit. You can do a little bit of changing of the views, although Audi's had this same virtual cockpit for a little while now. They've done some updates to it, and it's not, in this car, it's not the most advanced looking thing ever, because even though this car is like a $68,000 MSRP, it doesn't have the factory nav, so you can't look at the nav in front of you on the virtual cockpit. You do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto that you can use, so we still have some map capability, but I think the nav would have been like another $1,500 on this particular car. We have the 8 HP 8-speed automatic, which is a fantastic transmission. The entry-level Q5s with the 4-cylinder turbos actually get the 7-speed S-Tronic, which is a dual clutch, like sequential manual gearbox, and in theory, that's a sportier transmission, but the 8 HP is so good that I'm willing to give it a pass because I love this transmission. It's in a million bajillion cars, and I've always enjoyed using it. Let's see, I'm gonna back the Drive Select down. I'm just gonna go all the way down to comfort. So it's telling me that it is raising the air suspension. The engine has quieted itself down. Due to local regulations, my Wi-Fi is being reconfigured. I don't really understand why that is, but I don't care because I don't really truck with Wi-Fi in cars. I'm an unlimited data man myself. It's funny because this car has quite a bit in common, I think, with the Porsche Macan, right down to the fact that the entry-level powertrains are almost identical. I guess you have to get the 45 version of the base Q5, but this has such a different feeling from the Macan. Comfort. It is a very nice cabin. This one has the like leather and Dynamica seats. I don't love the Dynamica. To me, it feels a little bit cheap. I would have preferred a more, you know, classic Alcantara in the seats, which I like better, but they look all right. The materials are suitably high quality for an Audi, and Audis need to have suitably high quality materials. With a car like this, with all of its trick differentials, it's really hard to demonstrate what it's capable of in a brief internet test drive video, and unfortunately I won't have enough time to spend with this car to figure out how to demonstrate it. But this car can send, it's quattro all-wheel drive, so of course it can send power front to rear, and it can send up to 80% of the power to the rear wheels, which is a pretty good rear bias for an all-wheel drive system, and that does improve handling because it helps the car rotate around curves, especially a car like this that carries a little bit more of its weight on its nose than it does on its tail. And then when you get the S Sport package and you have the Sport differential in the rear, that can transfer the rear torque from side to side, and apparently it can transfer almost 100% to one side or the other. So the theory with this is you're going through a curve, and the rear, you know, all the computers and yaw sensors and everything else knows what's going on in the car. So the computer will decide to send more power to the outside wheel to sort of push you through the curve and give you more, I guess, just more traction, more grip. And it's pretty intense, and you really only feel the difference because I've driven several cars that have similar systems, including an Audi RS3 and a bunch of Acuras with the super handling all-wheel drive, which do something similar. You really only feel it at high speeds on like a freeway interchange or accelerating hard on a freeway on-ramp when you can just give it the gas, because these systems, these all-wheel drive systems and these true torque vectoring differentials, they need power from the engine to function, to do their job. So you're only gonna feel it when you have your foot down and you're turning. But it's pretty amazing. It's very, very, very good technology, and there's no doubt that Audi makes some of the best all-wheel drive systems in the world, as long as it's in their longitudinally mounted engine cars. Although they've gotten to the point where they've gotten pretty good at making them with the transverse engine cars too, like that RS3. So, oh, this thing is just, okay, let's bump it down to, I don't want auto, I want dynamic. Yeah, the car just immediately like wakes up when you put it in dynamic mode. The ride is stiffer, throttle's more responsive. Audi Drive Select allows the driver to have ultimate control over the driving dynamics of these fine German vehicles. Oh, please refuel. Okay. A very good and nice friend of mine let me borrow this car to review it, and I was planning to fill it up with fuel for her as a thank you for her being very generous to let me borrow her new Audi. Full beans! Oh, see, those shifts right there are why I like the 8 HP automatic in a sporting vehicle. Because it just cracks them off. Uh-oh. All speeds displayed are in kilometers per hour because it's a European car. Now, oh, listen to that throttle crack. That's great. Now this road, I'm in dynamic mode. I have the air suspension in this one, like I said earlier. So that was 50 over that. There's this weird stretch of road right here that's bumpy, and I just did it at 50. I'm gonna try to turn around and do it again in comfort mode and really see if there's a difference to be felt. It's even pretty quick in comfort mode. Okay. Feels smoother already. I need to slow down to the same speed I was at. I was doing about 50. Here we go. Oh, yeah. That's funny. There's a big difference there. Well, that's air suspension. I love air suspension. I would get the S Sport Like, I would highly recommend that. For the trick diff and the air suspension, I think that's worth it. All right, well, that is my test drive video for this beautiful Audi SQ5. I will put a link to my full review video in the comments if you would like to check that out. And thank you very much for taking the time to watch my test drive video. If you liked it, please leave me a like, subscribe to my channel, and have a great day. Bye-bye.